Fans assume the monumental $50 million void left by the cornerstone departures means the Mets are financially preparing for a colossal 2027 run, patiently hoarding resources. But the truth unearthed by sources close to the organization suggests an entirely different, far more cynical calculation. Ownership genuinely believes that signing an immediate superstar like Kyle Tucker would actually decrease the long-term systemic value of the franchise by forcing an unsustainable benchmark, a radical and frankly alarming notion that flips the traditional New York superstar economy completely on its head. Welcome back, faithful viewers, to 615 Al Dia Baseball, the only place where we dissect the brutal, agonizing truth of the diamond and the front office maneuvering. If the Mets are indeed trading the electric buzz of hope for the mundane dependability of Austin Hays, you need to hear the cold, calculated logic behind it, even if it makes you want to throw your hat through the screen right now. Let's not mince words. This isn't just a roster change. It is a full-scale emotional amputation.
The core is gone. Pete Alonso, the heart, Edwin Diaz, the adrenaline, Brandon Nimmo, the conscience, they all walked, leaving a gaping wound that screams louder than any fan in the nosebleeds. We need an outfielder. On the surface, the solution is insultingly obvious. We are talking about the New York Mets. The franchise has the history, the market, and historically, the payroll. When names like Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger are still sitting there, waiting to instantly elevate a franchise and rewrite the narrative, the only logical move is to cut the check. A signing of that magnitude wouldn't just plug the hole. It would be a defiant declaration that the Mets, despite the painful reset, still intend to compete. But the current signals coming out of Queens tell a story of profound caution, perhaps even institutional fear that goes far beyond simple economics. According to the latest reports, instead of swinging for the fences with a franchise-altering superstar, the Mets are strongly linked to Austin Hays, a player who spent 2025 posting a very respectable, but decidedly un-superstar-like .768 OPS with the Cincinnati Reds. Hays is a solid player, absolutely. He brings speed and undeniable pop, especially when facing left-handed pitching, where he posted a scorching .310 average last season. If you're building a platoon, a complementary piece, Austin Hays is your guy. He is the professional solution. But here is the critical distinction that the Mets brass seems to be deliberately overlooking. New York does not buy utility. New York demands spectacle. I was talking recently to veteran scout Leo Marquez, and he laid out the situation perfectly. He told me they are selling hope on clearance, and New York City absolutely does not shop on clearance.
When you gut a team, the fans need a lightning rod. Hays is a tactical acquisition. Tucker is a theological statement. This is where the emotional connection breaks down. When you ask a fan base that has just watched its icons depart to rally behind a reliable, .770 OPS corner outfielder, you are fundamentally misunderstanding the nature of hope in a championship market.
You are asking them to accept the reality of a 5-year rebuild instead of clinging to the fantasy of an 18-month turnaround. Now, the counter-argument is immediately predictable, and we must address it head-on because it is the intellectual shield the front office will hide behind. The analytics community will champion this move, claiming it's a stroke of genius in efficiency. They will argue, why spend $300 million on Tucker or Bellinger when you can get 80% of the production for $40 million total? Hays has a high floor, a manageable contract, and he's an ideal asset to flip at the trade deadline next year for more low-level prospects. They focus on Bellinger's inherent risk, that 28% strikeout rate in high-leverage situations, the historical volatility in his power numbers. They are calculating risk and reward purely on paper. But this focus on value over velocity misses the entire emotional calculus of New York baseball. When you pass on a superstar, especially after a dramatic teardown, you tell the fan base that the potential future is more valuable than the present reality. And that, my friends, is the shocking philosophical flaw at the heart of the Mets' decision-making. It's not about being cheap. It's about being fundamentally afraid of the long-term, high-risk, high-reward commitment that defines true championship teams. They are sacrificing competitive momentum right now to maintain maximum organizational flexibility later. Think about it this way. The front office has internalized the failure of the past decade, the massive contracts that soured, the lack of depth, the unsustainable spending that led to zero championships.
They have developed a deep-seated institutional fear of being locked into a massive deal. Signing Tucker isn't just about his $30 million AAV. It's about accepting the rigidity that comes with an 8-year, $250 million commitment. They see that commitment as an anchor that restricts their ability to pivot in 2027 or 2028 when their actual prospects, the ones they truly believe in, are supposed to arrive. This is the ultimate plot twist. The real reason they are passing on the superstar is not that they cannot afford him, but that they are terrified of the prospect cost and the trade flexibility they would lose if Tucker's contract became even slightly problematic 4 years down the line. They are valuing the potential of an unproven future core above the necessary sacrifice needed to satisfy and energize the present market.
Austin Hayes is therefore not an outfield signing. He is organizational padding. He's a tactical maneuver to avoid the high-stakes pressure of expectation. When you look at the comparative data, the gap is stark. Tucker provides an average of 4.5 WAR over the last 3 seasons. Hayes, projected conservatively, offers 2.5 WAR. That difference, that 2.0 WAR deficit, is the exact amount of hope and ambition the Mets are intentionally cashing out to finance their risk-averse rebuild.
It is cold, it is calculated, and it is a tough, tough pill to swallow for fans who believed this new era of ownership meant never settling for less. The Mets are proving that you can have all the money in the world and still be driven by the ghosts of past failures. They are rebuilding the structure, yes, but they are forgetting to rebuild the spirit. Let me know what you think of this painful revelation.
Are the Mets making a 4D chess move to secure a championship window in 2028, or are they committing a fundamental error by prioritizing risk mitigation over market dynamism? If you are as frustrated or fascinated as I am by the calculated identity shift in Queens, make sure you hit that like button, share this video with every Mets fan you know, and subscribe to 615 Aldea Baseball for the daily analysis that dissects the game beyond the box score.
Do the Mets truly need a star right now to salvage the 2026 season, or is the Hayes signing a necessary evil for the long-term vision? Drop your takes in the comments below.